What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name is Michael Roman, aka Allfires. Now, it's a testament to Marvel Comics Publishing that we're nearly 20 years into the cinematic universe, and there are still tons of stories and sagas they haven't even scratched the surface of, let alone characters still to introduce, and iconic moments between team-ups and fights that have yet to happen, even between classic characters that have been in the MCU and for quite some time. Well, all of the rumors and confirmation swirling around Brand New Day have seemingly gone a long way in promising to do just that, but today's update is an absolute bombshell where we're finally hearing confirmed there are going to be some insane fight sequences. We're breaking down exactly what was said, Punisher's involvement, what it means for the film, what we think is actually going on with the plot during this part, and because of leaked concept art from months ago, which we'll issue the lightest of spoiler warning for, we basically know how this is all going to end up. And again, for an MCU that's nearly 20 years in the making, this promises to be an absolutely classic scene that I cannot wait to see in live action. We're breaking it all down, this latest leak for a massive action sequence in Spider-Man Brand New Day. But before we go any further with today's video, I want to tell you about something that's relevant but often overlooked, and that's how you smell can affect the people around you and the space that you're in. And I've been personally exploring different fragrances recently, but buying a whole bottle at a time, not ideal. And that's when I discovered the sponsor of today's video, Scentbird, a fragrance subscription service that allows me to try new scents without fully committing. And you receive them in the form of a generous 8ml vial, which lasts about 30 days, or I found about 120 sprays. This month I tried Heretic's Black Salt on a date with my fiance. She couldn't stop complimenting it. And the other scent I was using this month at work was Vintage Label Leather. Also garnered some compliments. Guys, and each one of your vials is going to come with one of these awesome magnetic cases, and it allows you to lock your vial for when you're traveling. These are the perfect size and they're safe. They won't squeeze. Ingenious design, and again, makes it really easy to take these with you, where a lot of those full-size bottles you can't take on a carry-on. And this is the perfect time of year to up your scent game. We have a solid deal for you. Hit the QR code, hit the link down in the description, and use code 55everything to get 55% off your first month. That's right, you get the first fragrance for $8.97, and the next month after that will only be $17.95. So again, hit the QR code, click the link down in the description, make sure to use code 55everything and get 55% off your first month with Scentbird. Sign up and up your scent game today. Okay, so this latest scene leak comes to us from none other than the anonymous Twitter scoopster and industry insider, My Time to Shine. Hello, and while we remind you guys to take everything that doesn't come from Marvel Studios with a grain of salt, we of course give a lot more reverence to anybody who's willing to put their name on it. No Twitter scoopster has gotten everything right, keep that in mind. They are indicating though that, quote, there are going to be insane fight sequences between Spider-Man, Punisher, and Hulk, and that many of those sequences were actually filmed by Jon Bernthal's stunt double because he was only on set for a couple of weeks. Now again, on surface level, this is extremely exciting. This is definitely something we've never seen out of a Spider-Man movie. The Hulk and the Punisher and Spider-Man all fighting each other, and this falls right in line with other industry insider updates we've gotten as far as the relationship between Peter Parker and Frank Castle early on is not going to be an amicable one. They're basically going to be at each other's throats the whole film, but having to team up to take down bigger villains, bigger threats, and in some cases, at least in early case of the film, it will be the Hulk. Now, based on set leaks, we know that there's a huge prison break happening with Scorpion being broken out of jail, and we've theorized here at the channel that if the main villain is actually Mr. Negative, also based on leaked reports that Spider-Man and the Punisher perhaps will be fighting a group of inner demons or ninjas. We're assuming they're not the Hand. If Mr. Negative can mind control the Hulk, he could have him revert from Professor Hulk to Savage Hulk and then use him to break Scorpion and others out of jail. I assume during that very fight sequence, we're going to have the intersection of both Punisher and Spider-Man trying to stop the prison break, the villains, and the Hulk all at the same time. And again, because Peter and Frank Castle will not be teamed up right from the beginning, they'll probably be fighting each other at the same time while they're trying to battle Hulk. An absolutely classic matchup, which again is surprisingly composed of all OG characters for the MCU. Yes, I know Punisher has just joined the MCU, but he's had the Netflix shows for quite some time. All OG characters in terms of them portraying those roles, and all now crossing over and fighting each other for the first time is something that seems like it's classic Marvel and finding its way onto the big screen in 2026, again, nearly 20 years into the MCU. But as I mentioned, we need to issue the lightest of spoiler warnings because early on in the production, concept art was leaked from an artist on the film that showed a lot of Spider-Man and a Savage Hulk teaming up. And this was right after John Roca and Jeff Snyder had said Hulk would be in Spider-Man, but before we knew we would be getting a Savage version, and there he was in that concept art with Spider-Man basically on his shoulder as they were inspecting the damage to a building. That foreshadows a team-up between Spider-Man and the Hulk, and eventually a team-up between Spider-Man, Punisher, the Hulk, and what we think will be an inevitable Daredevil cameo towards the end of the film as well. So once they're done fighting each other, they're obviously all going to team up and fight together, and I think that will end up being against the Inner Demons as well, and then eventually Mr. Negative, the actual villain of the film. Now, there were some rumors that Punisher would be getting his War Machine armor during this film, which I think is clearly way too early for that character, just making his big screen debut. But I think it is at least worth considering that between the three of these guys fighting, the clear nod goes to Spider-Man. He's already shown that he can beat a myriad of villains in Doctor Strange inside the mirror dimension. However, what can Punisher do against Hulk? And I think that's where the rumors of the War Machine armor came in, but more likely the case, I think he's probably going to take one of these tanks, as we've seen in the footage that's shot already, because most of his artillery, Frank Castle's that isn't going to do anything to the Hulk. Bullets are just going to bounce right off him, but maybe with the tank, he could flatten him. Still, I think Spider-Man, again, gets the clear nod trumping both of these guys. Spider-Man can easily outsmart and outmaneuver the Punisher, not bulletproof, but can outmaneuver him and beat him, and I think certainly can beat the Hulk as well. What Punisher will be doing against the Hulk, I'm not sure. And then you can, of course, throw Daredevil in the mix. But as a full team up, I think it is an awesome new look for Spider-Man. Again, Marvel Studios, they want to do something that hasn't been done before, like sending Spidey to space during Infinity War, and even going all the way back to his original Homecoming film. They wanted to find a way to do things that hadn't been done already, and I'm glad to see that as we're entering the second trilogy between Sony and Marvel, they're still trying to figure out what the most exciting way to present a Spider-Man we haven't seen before, in situations we haven't seen before, in team-ups we haven't seen before. We've seen Spidey on the Avengers and part of a massive team-up, but we haven't quite seen anything like a Daredevil, Hulk, Punisher, Spider-Man team-up, more of a max-out street-level hero fight, and I cannot wait to see all of them on the same side against whomever the villain is. It's really still awesome, again, that Marvel Studios can find new things to do, even with OG characters, and I'm sure it seemed like an impossible task outdoing Spider-Man No Way Home with all of the three Spider-Men in the same film, but it seems like, to be honest, they found a way to do it, and if I'm being completely honest, I'm more excited, I think, for this than I was, only because the leaks became so overwhelming with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. The hype may not be anywhere near as high in the zeitgeist. That's easy to admit, but for me, I can't wait for this. This sounds absolutely amazing. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below. Remember to hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. It enters you for the giveaways. Make sure to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on. And as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. And again, huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Scentbird. Make sure to hit the QR code, use the link down in the description, use code 55everything, and get 55% off your first month at Scentbird.